Cheryl Munson of New South Wales. That'll be a great match. Look forward to having you once again to the Logan City Lanes, just to the south of Brisbane, and another of the women's matches of our 1986 Coca-Cola Classic. This match is between Leanne Moyle, who's taken all before her so far to win both of her games, but she comes up against the defending champion, Cheryl Munson from New South Wales. Steve Mackey, this is going to be a tough match for Leanne.
It certainly will be. Cheryl's got a bit of a point to prove here. She's had a pretty torrid time this year. She's only won one Grand Prix tournament. I think last year she came to this tournament with 6 wins under her belt. So she's going to be trying all out. One-game match. Let's see what Leanne can do this time. She's pulled 2 big wins out.
Leanne Moyle is from Queensland. She has a highest game to her credit of 278. In 1983 was the winner of the Women's Adelaide Cup and the Southern Cross Cup, and in that same year was in the World Championships in Venezuela. In 84 was a member of the Australian team at the Asian Championships in Singapore, and has been a consistent member over recent years of the Queensland state team. The defending champion, Cheryl Munson, is from New South Wales. She has a highest game of 285. Her recent victories include the 1985 Adelaide Cup and, of course, this Coca-Cola Classic last year here at the Logan City Lanes. And during 1986, she's taken out the Newcastle Cup. So it's going to be Leanne Moyle to bowl first on lane 11. And that's a difficult start for her. That's a rather hard split she's got.
It's called the baby split, this one. The 3 and the 10 pins, not much of a gap between the two. Let's see if she can put the ball down the middle. She's trying for it. She's got it.
Well bowled. A difficult start for Leanne Moyle, but she's done well to come back and pick up that spare in the first.
Yes, good accuracy required there, and she got the spare. Well, Munson. Remember last year, John, when she opened up her very first frame in this tournament, she left the big 4 split, so certainly a better opening than last year, but a bit unlucky there not to carry a strike.
Cheryl Munson, who has that rather characteristic action. It's probably surprising that she bowled so well to win this tournament last year, that in fact she's only qualified 7th in this year's 1986 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic.
Well, we had a qualifying tournament here prior to the TV finals at Logan City, and Cheryl was running second with just 2 games to go, and she had a bit of trouble on lanes 5 and 6. And it cost her quite a lot of pins. In fact, about 60 pins she lost at that point in those 2 games, and that brought her right down to 7th. So she's got a hard road to follow this time on her path to the top-seeded position, held at the moment by Barbara Richmond of Queensland.
She perhaps been just a little bit off the boil this year as far as form's concerned.
Yeah, she's only had a couple of tournament wins, and of course she was the captain of the New South Wales team that won the Interstate Shield this year, but certainly not the pace that she's had last year. And a very high backswing John was talking about a moment ago. Not quite enough of a kick there, though. She did leave the 4-pin on that second frame. Yeah, Cheryl Munson, the highest backswing of any of the top women bowlers in the country. Gets way above her head.
Curving back in to give her spare in the second.
Yeah, she had a bit of a wry smile on her face that time too. She lost her footing halfway up, but got the spare all the same. Leanne Moyle, that purposeful push away. Oh boy, she's really hot. Well, it's nice to see that strike going in there, but Leanne's reaction was a beauty too. She came back and clapped her hands together with glee, just like she'd won the lottery.
I think Leanne started this tournament very nervously. She was the last of the qualifiers, ranked 10th, but I think when she had that win over Ruth Gerster in the first round and then was able to come back and beat Carol Giannotti, perhaps somewhat luckily because Carol really threw it away. But by the same token, it was a win to Leanne, and I'm sure that gave her a lot of confidence. She thought to herself, well, so far so good, and some of those nerves are gone, and I know I can hold my own with the best.
She certainly can, and she's got a perfect line here at Logan City. Notice where she finished up on the approach there with that good follow-through, but she's finishing on the far right of the lane, and she's letting the lane bring the ball up to the pocket for her, and that's why she's carrying so many strikes and nines.
And this for her spare in the third. And gets it.
That gives her 40 pins now in the second frame. Cheryl Munson needs a strike to be a pin behind.
Cheryl Munson, the defending champion for the Coca-Cola Classic. And as is normally the case with Leanne, she doesn't watch her opponent.
Actually, not many of the bowlers watch the opposition. They prefer to be concentrating on their own game. There's not much that you can do about the opponent up on the lane there. You've just got to concentrate on making good shots yourself, and well, they don't come any better than this one. That was a beauty by Cheryl Munson. 4, and she's done it again. A cold 9-pin off a solid pocket hit. And let's have a look at what the ball does. It starts turning very sharp here and jumps past the 9, but that's unbelievable.
In fact, probably from Leanne's point of view, it could have been a little bit worse. She was perhaps a little fortunate, Steve, that she was left with only 1 pin standing.
Yes, in the replay we saw a few more standing there, so she may well count her lucky stars.
This for a spare, no mistake.
Yes, Leanne Moyle certainly coming of age in this tournament. And she's brought the Queensland crowd alive here in this virtual state of origin clash, a la rugby league.
An extremely good crowd here at the Logan City Lanes, situated between Brisbane and the glorious Gold Coast. And Leanne Moyle.
Oh, what a ball that was. What a beauty.
In fact, that looked as though it was only going to have one result from the moment it left her hand.
Yes, that's for sure. And look at that follow-through. Perfect all the way down. And let's have a look at this result again. That's a great ball. Excellent stuff.
Back on lane 12, Cheryl Munson.
That was close. Close to just about any result, but she got 8 out of it, and she's the leader by 8 pins. And that one pulled high, pulled to the left, a little bit eager to get rid of the ball. Didn't take enough time finishing the shot off. By that I mean she didn't follow through quite as vigorously as normal. Moving left on the approach now to go for these 2 pins, the pin numbers 3 and 6.
Repeating at the end of the third, Cheryl Munson had gone to an 8-pin lead and an open frame. Well, Leanne Moyle is let back into the match, as happened in her last game against Carol Giannotti. She was seemingly out of it, and all of a sudden her opponent made mistakes, and in the twinkling of an eye, Leanne Moyle was back in front. Well, let's see if it happens again. A costly mistake that one could be by Cheryl Munson.
Yes, that's a problem. When the lanes are turning a lot at the far end, the ball does turn more as it reaches the pins, and that's what happened to Cheryl Munson. Let's see if she can shake it off.
She certainly does. That's the way to come back when you've made a mistake, to hit back immediately in that fashion. Well done, Cheryl Munson.
Yes, champions always come back with strikes. Let's have another look at this. Good light pocket hit. That's the best hit in Logan City. Plenty of pin action off the side walls, and a strike for Cheryl, and she too doesn't like to watch her opponent.
So Leanne Moyle leaving 3 pins standing, but she should still be able to pick up a spare.
Yeah, she rushed the foul line that time. Result, didn't have the ball at the right place at the right time, and it went out the window. But she shouldn't be too disappointed. If she gets this spare, she's going to have a 4-pin lead halfway through the game.
And she does. So a game of real fluctuating fortunes. First of all, Leanne Moyle in front by 1, and then Cheryl Munson hitting back to take an 8-pin lead. And now we find Leanne Moyle back in front by 4.
And Leanne played the perfect shot for that spare. She went to the left of the front pin and let the ball do all the work. Good thinking for Leanne Moyle.
So Leanne Moyle of Queensland in front at the halfway stage.
She'll have to do some heavy thinking about that one. That ball really jumped on her. She's breaking them up. Left only the 1 pin. But it could have been anything.
A few deep breaths by Leanne Moyle to get a composure and a concentration back.
Might have noticed that ball, John. It went almost straight down the lane, but when she turns the ball on the first shot from the corner of the lane, it turns a lot. So she's playing the right angle for these lanes, which are quite slick. Been oiled just before the match.
Cheryl Munson. Looks good.
Oh, boy, was it ever good. She knew that was a strike from the moment she got out of the chair. And did the same thing as Leanne, leaving those 3 corner pins. Trying a little bit too hard, perhaps. But a handy leader, 16 pins ahead in the 7th frame. And, of course, then Leanne opened the 8th, so Munson could be as many as 27 pins ahead if she can get this spare. Oh, that opens the door.
And she's not too happy about that for obvious reasons, Cheryl Munson.
Well, that's cut her lead to only 13 pins maximum, and she's coming up for the 10th frame. She's going to finish first. In fact, she elected to do it this way, to finish first and put the pressure on her less experienced opponent. So let's see if it works in Cheryl's favour.
13 pins she leads by, Cheryl Munson.
Boy, she was lucky to get out of that one. And just practicing her release there, she overturned the ball. That's 2 shots in a row. She overturned it under pressure when she really didn't need to do too much to shoot a nice game in the small 200s. So the pressure gets to everyone in this sport. Very much a mental game at this level. Well, the situation is that Cheryl needs 8 to shut the gate. If she gets 7, Leanne can still tie the game. And if she gets 6, she can lose. So a very important shot now for Cheryl Munson, who will be concentrating very, very hard to hit the head pin and hope that it's 8 or more. 8 to win. Oh, it's a bad shot. No, she got 8, and that's just enough. 196. It's going to be a winning score because the best Leanne can do is 195.
Cheryl wouldn't be all that happy with the way she finished that match, even though she's going to sneak in.
And with the pressure off, Leanne's hit the pocket beautifully, but that split certainly has cost her the match. The last time she visited lane 12, she left the 8-10 split, the bane of every right-handed bowler. And she'll exit the tournament in 8th place. But a good effort by her, and it's nice to see Leanne on the comeback trail. Well, there's still lots of Queenslanders in the Coca-Cola Classic. Joan Lepp, Jo Ellen Day, Bev Jamison, Mary Flower, Barbara Richmond, and a Victorian in Jeanette Baker-Flynn.
So Leanne Moyle to finish her run in the 1986 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. And 182 she finishes with. Cheryl Munson winning with 196. 196 to 182, and Cheryl Munson, the defending champion, advances to the next round. In 8th place. Well done. A couple of good victories. Unfortunately came to an end for you against Cheryl, but that's no disgrace.
No, she's a very good bowler, and I'd really like to wish her all the best for the remainder of the tournament.
Thanks, Leanne, and well done. Cheryl, congratulations. Not your best form, but I'm sure there's plenty of work and plenty of improvement there from you.
Thank you, John. I think I just got the breaks in those games. Hopefully I'll play a better game next time.
And in fact, that next match in the women's series will be a replay of last year's grand final between Cheryl Munson and the Queenslander Joan Lepp. The next match we're going to bring you in the Coca-Cola Classic of 86 will be the 5th round of the men's series. We look forward to having you back with us at Logan City Lane shortly for the continuation of the Coca-Cola Classic of 1986.